Welcome to this edition of CBN News Weekend. I'm Heather Sells.
And I'm Ephraim Graham. It is an outstanding university in the West Bank in Israel where Israeli, Jewish, and Arab students work and study together. So why are European governments and the U.S. State Department boycotting it? Scott Ross brings us the story.
This is Ariel University, located in the hills of biblical Samaria. Established in 1982, the school sought to improve higher education here, especially in the sciences, engineering, and health.
We're standing in front of now a particle accelerator.
Yes.
What is the purpose of a particle accelerator? Does every home need one?
You do have a little one in every home.
Really?
You have a microwave oven.
Okay.
And in the microwave oven, you have a little particle accelerator, and it creates the radiation.
Professor Aharon Friedman told me there are only a few of these machines in the world.
The main research that we actually have occurring here now is cancer research. We have discovered that that particular radiation causes cancer cells to kill themselves.
Kill themselves?
Yes.
Put them on a suicide mission.
Exactly. But all the healthy cells are alive and well.
The university's home is Ariel, what some call a West Bank settlement and territory Palestinians want for a future state. It's also land promised to the Jewish people as an eternal inheritance in the Bible.
But you have been boycotted at times.
We have been boycotted.
Who's boycotting you?
European governments, the U.S. State Department.
Oddly enough, despite the politics, the university represents a model for coexistence. 15,000 Israeli, Jewish, and Arab students study here together without a problem. I spoke with a variety of the students: Shira, a Jewish woman from New York; Efrat, a religious Israeli woman; Eli Ran, a reserve soldier; Yasser, an Israeli Arab; and Yossi, whose family immigrated from Ethiopia.
Why did you choose to come to Ariel University?
I was looking for where there's a good psychology program, something an eclectic student body, and I found it here.
Okay, any of the rest of you? Why you?
Because of the professional, of course, the professional department here, and especially in communication.
The people here are so warm and happy, and the teachers too. It's a small university, so they can give a good care to every student they see.
Do you agree with what he's saying about the atmosphere, the relationships?
It's a good atmosphere. My relationship with other people is very good as well. And I don't have any problem with anyone here.
Do any of you get any hassles or problems from family members because you have chosen to come to school here?
There are a lot of hostile Arabs around here. And there is a lot of incidents around here. So, you know, the parents are afraid for the children.
It would seem that you could be a model for the rest of the country between Jews, Arabs, whatever. Is that true?
Yes, hopefully. I think so.
Of course.
In my apartment, the next door is Arab people, and we have a good relationship. We don't have a problem at all.
Are you surprised by how effective you guys are?
Well, I'm not surprised. I have to be part of the system here that sends a message to everyone. The thing is that people remember this place from bad times, harsh times when things were rough, or bad publicity in the news, but no one really comes here to see what's happening, so they don't really know.
Well, that's why we're here.
No, maybe we will change something.
Yeah.
No, because I think that people really think that it's a very hard or not a safe place, but it's not true.
Chancellor Yigal Cohen Orgad credits the university's success to creating an informal atmosphere where students see each other eye to eye.
Do you have many conflicts here in the university?
Thanks God, not at all. We passed in Israel 2 intifadas, this university. There was no one evening or one day of tension between Jews and Arabs that study here.
Despite its cutting-edge research, pastoral setting, and quiet campus life, some see Ariel University as a controversial place.
Have you had problems with the international community or with the other Israelis?
We don't have problems with other universities and research institutes. We have real problems with many governments, first of all in Europe, and part of the American government, i.e. the State Department, that tries to boycott us, formally or informally.
Why?
Because they think we don't have the right as Jews to live here in Samaria.
Do you have hope for the future for peace for Israel?
I am sure one day we are going to have peace with our Arab neighbors. Based on these understandings that we are here to stay, we shall find the way to live in peace.
Scott Ross, Ariel University, Samaria.
And don't forget to go to our website, cbnnews.com, and click on Inside Israel. There you get the latest stories straight from our Israeli bureau.
The leader of the Lebanese terror group Hezbollah is praising the pending nuclear deal between international powers and Iran. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu and President Obama have been at odds over the deal. Netanyahu says Obama's plan is a bad one that will lead to a nuclear Iran and possibly war. Hezbollah leader Sheikh Hassan Nasrallah is considered Iran's proxy. In a new interview, Nasrallah says the deal would pave the way for Iran to become more influential, especially in its backing for what he called the Palestinian resistance. Iran backs the Palestinian terror groups Hamas and Islamic Jihad. Nasrallah also called on neighboring Arab countries to make sacrifices in any future conflict with Israel.
Turning things stateside now, the business of cake baking is highlighting Colorado's double standard in dealing with gay rights and religious rights. A Christian customer requested a cake with a pro-traditional marriage message at a bakery and was refused. The Colorado Civil Rights Division rejected his complaint that he had been discriminated against because of his beliefs, stating that no one should have to make something promoting a message they disagree with. However, when bakery owner Jack Phillips refused to make a cake for a gay wedding because of his religious beliefs, he was sued. And that same Colorado Civil Rights Commission agreed with the ruling against him. Phillips was forced to pay hefty fines and undergo re-education. It's something Carrie Kupek from the Alliance Defending Freedom calls, quote, troubling and frankly alarming.
It's not just Christianity, Islam, Judaism. These are religions that teach a very certain message about marriage. Jack is just abiding by those beliefs as he runs his business. The First Amendment protects his right to do so. And like I said, Jack and other similarly situated people like Jack, they serve everyone gladly, lovingly, caringly. That's not the issue. The issue is marriage. And it's frightening that the commission can tell 3 bakeries in Colorado, it's okay for you to live according to your beliefs, which obviously that's a good thing. We want the government to protect our right to live according to our faith, to live according to our beliefs. That's American. That's why our country was founded. But for that same commission to turn around and tell Jack, oh, sorry, but that doesn't apply to you because of your Christian faith about marriage, well, that's absolutely disturbing and something that every American should be concerned about.
Kupek also said the commission compared Phillips to slave owners and Nazis. Now you can catch the entire interview with her, and to find out the latest updates on Phillips' case, simply go to our website, cbnnews.com.
The recent media uproar over Indiana's religious freedom law put a small-town pizzeria in the spotlight. Memories Pizza in Walkerton, Indiana, had to close down after receiving threats for saying they serve gay customers, but wouldn't cater a same-sex wedding. Ben Howe from Blaze TV started the GoFundMe page, a website where people could help the owners raise money to stay afloat. And in an amazing show of support, they received well over $800,000. Howe believes one reason for the success is that, quote, people don't like bullies.
I think that people were outraged at the idea that this pizza, because keep in mind, they were asked a hypothetical question by a newscaster. They hadn't turned anybody away. They just answered a question. And this was the response they got. I think people inherently just hate seeing people be bullied, and they wanted to have their voices heard.
Howe said he thinks this is a new way to support Christians who have lost business because of their religious beliefs.
Coming up, you've heard the phrase, follow the money. Some people have done just that, and it's taken them to some unlikely places. See how it's helped them to save thousands of dollars. A few months ago, back in January, in fact, President Obama talked about how strong the economy is in his State of the Union address, and he promised his economic policies would continue to work. But the latest report shows more evidence the economy is slowing down. Barely 100,000 jobs were created last month, and the amount of money people bring home in an average weekly paycheck fell. Some say part of the reason for the weaker economy is the tough winter in some parts of the country, while others say the stronger dollar has hurt U.S. businesses overseas.
Well, it is tax season, and if you haven't completed your federal tax forms, you've got a few days to get that done. It is a time of year when people think about decreasing their tax burden, and that's actually what many people have already done. They are taking a tax hike, moving from states with high taxes to states with lower taxes.
What is it that causes people to pick up and move? Whether it's across town or across the country. You don't usually hear taxes in the explanation, but new data shows it's all part of the equation. The IRS provided the evidence that allows us to simply follow the money.
We're talking about not a survey, not a sample, not a focus group. We're talking about actual results of people's adjusted gross income.
The data author Travis Brown cites in How Money Walks shows the incomes of 43 million Americans and where they went between 1995 and 2010.
Generally what we find is that taxpayers over the long term are fleeing the high tax states and flocking to the low tax states.
Brown discovered that the 9 states with no personal income tax gained $146 billion in income during this period. And the states with the highest personal income tax rates, they lost $107 billion. Overall, states with the lowest state and local tax burdens brought in almost $70 billion, and those with the highest burdens took a $139 billion hit. Some of these so-called winner states, like Texas and Florida, are well known for attracting newcomers, but others could be considered more of a well-kept secret.
You might not think of Tennessee as a trendy state to move to, but that's actually what's happening. It's one of 9 states nationwide with no personal income tax and an overall low tax burden.
A lot of people are coming from the Midwest, Wisconsin, Illinois, Michigan, Ohio. A lot of people are coming from the Northeast because that's a very expensive place to live.
Mary Jo Page directs marketing for Fairfield Glade, a retirement community perched high atop Tennessee's Cumberland Plateau. The natural beauty here makes it an easy sell, and the lower taxes help to close the deal. Karen and Dennis Shaw escaped 10 years ago from the D.C. suburbs of Northern Virginia.
When I left up there, I was paying $4,000 a year in taxes, and when I moved down here, my taxes went to $750.
Chris and Abe Seelick moved from a small house in Chicago to a beautiful retirement home in Fairfield Glade. Here they can afford extras like a new pontoon boat.
We still have a house in Chicago, 3-bedroom ranch. We pay over $9,000 taxes. On this house on the lake, we pay less than $1,400.
In fact, Tennessee joins the top 10 states that saw the greatest gains in adjusted gross income from 1995 to 2010. And the losers? States with notoriously high taxes like California, Michigan, and Illinois. James Martin, head of 60 Plus, a conservative seniors group, thinks taxes are the #1 reason that people move, although it's not always discussed.
Those states that they're moving to, sure, climate is a part of that, but that's not the real reason. It's the economic situation they find in those states.
Critics contend that tax cuts play at most a minor role in migration. They point to research that shows people move for climate, new jobs, and cheaper housing. Of course, there's plenty of folks on the ground in Fairfield Glade who would disagree.
That's probably even more important to people than what the cost of the homes are, because that's more of their long-term living expenses are the taxes here.
Brown is careful not to blame high taxes for this migration. He describes it more as a correlation and believes that policymakers should not ignore statistics that show dramatic shifts between high and low tax states.
They're not the only thing, but they do weigh in when it's time to make a lifetime decision.
For families like the Shaws, lower taxes have brought peace of mind and a little extra to spare.
We have here the home that we wanted, the land that we wanted, the amenities that we really wanted.
For all families, there's no denying that taxes affect income. Exactly how that affects where they live is debatable. But as the IRS numbers show, any community that wants to attract people should consider low taxes as a draw, just like a beautiful golf course or mountain lake.
So it's really interesting, Ephraim, because, you know, here you've got people talking about moving for the climate or for these other reasons, but they are looking at their taxes and definitely figuring that into the equation.
I think I can endure harsh weather if I had lower taxes.
Right. It makes a big difference.
It does. Well, up next, allergy season is upon us. We're going to show you how to ditch the antihistamines and fight your runny nose the natural way. Be sure to stay tuned. I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. That's our good news this week from Philippians 4:13.
Sometimes life can feel overwhelming. We in the news understand that. All the things going on in the world and your own life might make you feel like you have nowhere to turn. But the great thing is nothing has caught God by surprise, and we can turn to Him.
Indeed, we can. We can trust He will give us His strength, and by His strength, we can do all things.
Well, pollen is popping out everywhere right now, and allergy season will soon be in full swing.
It is a time of year that usually means big money for drug companies, with allergy sufferers across the country paying around $15 billion just for medicine.
Lori Johnson brings us some natural remedies to fight those runny noses and itchy eyes.
If you sneeze a lot, feel stuffed up, and have itchy eyes, you're probably allergic to something. Usually you reach for an antihistamine, but according to Dr. Suzanne Bennett, allergy drugs can create a whole new set of problems.
If you take an antihistamine, you're going to get really tired. If you're a child, actually, it can be the opposite. You get really hyper. Can't sleep. I mean, there's so many different side effects.
Like raising your blood pressure or causing urinary problems. That's why for 25 years, Dr. Bennett's helped her allergy patients the natural way with treatments like vitamin C, quercetin, and pine bark extract, which have no side effects. She also recommends trying to keep allergens out of your body.
We're constantly bombarded with things we might be allergic to, from things in our diet to what we breathe. But the more of these allergens we can get out of our lives, the better equipped we'll be to handle the ones we can't.
In her new book, The 7-Day Allergy Makeover, Dr. Bennett explains how to figure out your allergies and reduce your overall toxic load.
That's easy stuff. It really is. You just got to do it one by one. It's much easier than you think.
For example, many patients are surprised to find what they thought was a pollen allergy turned out to be an allergy to something else.
And I always look at nutrition as our #1 way to get rid of allergies. And you're going to say, well, I've got nasal allergy, so what does having something to eat have anything to do with my nose? Some people don't realize that they might be eating, let's say, a peanut butter sandwich, and then they start getting a runny nose, right? Or a little tickle in their throat and start to have that postnasal drip. Well, they don't realize it's from the peanut butter and jelly.
There are 6 main food allergies. Dr. Bennett instructs patients to give them up one at a time for 2 weeks and see if they feel better. They start with dairy, then gluten, sugar, peanuts, eggs, and mold.
After you deal with the allergens in your diet, focus on the ones in your home.
Some people mistake seasonal allergies for allergies to dust mites, which are microscopic bugs that feed on our dead skin, which is all over our bed, sofa, carpet, even our kids' stuffed animals. A quick fix is washing sheets in hot water each week, putting dust mite covers on pillows and mattresses, while also frequently vacuuming and dusting. Other indoor allergens include bathroom mold and pet dander.
You want to take your pets, your loving animals out of your bed, because that also is a slew of allergenic antigens that will cause allergic reactions and respiratory issues.
While we can't do much about pollen, we can try to keep it out of our homes by closing windows, removing pollen-covered shoes and clothes, and washing the pollen out of our hair. An air purifier can capture what we miss.
Use a HEPA filter with a carbon filtration system. That combination is the best to clean the air inside.
Also, regularly replace your air filters and have your air ducts professionally cleaned once a year.
When you do that, you can get all the mold, dust mites, pollen, anything that collects in the vents, you're going to remove as well.
Lori Johnson, CBN News.
And you can catch Lori's health and diet tips on Facebook and Twitter, and the latest updates on her blog, Healthy Living. We'll be right back. Well, welcome back to CBN News Weekend, and thank you for joining us today.
We hope you will tune in with us next week to hear stories you care about. Tuesday, senior national reporter Gary Lane tells us more about the threat on the high seas and on the power grid. China's Navy has surpassed the United States, and its military continues to expand on an increasing budget. But it's their cyber warfare advances that have experts warning the U.S. government. Don't miss that. It's coming up on Tuesday's 700 Club. Well, that is all for CBN News Weekend.
You can find more of the exclusive coverage we have of the issues that you care most about at cbnnews.com. And stay up to date with CBN News through Facebook and Twitter.
Hope you'll join us again right here next time. Have a wonderful weekend, everybody.